Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids and we're back for some more Thronebreaker, and this is gonna be a big one because we are at the end of Mahakam, and I mean the very end of Mahakam. We are staring down what is presumably the final main quest mission in this area, where we are finally going to get the chance to meet up with Brouver in a more full extent here and, well, be judged as to whether we have what it takes to earn his favor and hopefully get the support of the dwarves on our mission to take out the Nilfgaardians. We have, of course, talked extensively about, over the course of our trip through Mahakam, what we have and have not done to try to win Brouver's favor, as, questionable as some of those situations have been. But most recently, we actually learned from Gabor that there was a little bit of an extra twist to all that, or at least some of the key main quest missions, such as Boros Rump over here, where it wasn't just a matter of us getting rid of some monster infestations and whatnot, but actually that apparently the Zigrins were trying to wage some kind of, let's call it like it is, basically genocide on the Fuchses, which was one of their rival clans, and they basically tried to cover it up such that it looked like they were monster attacks, when in fact it was just us helping them to destroy their rival clan, and somehow, some way, Gabor and the rest of the Zigrins have hidden that hidden detail from Brouver and seemingly everyone else, including us, until Gascon, of all people, was the one who found it out and informed Meve. So, seems like there's going to be some question as to whether we're going to side with Gabor and the Zigrins or Brouver, and I think a lot of this is going to come down to, well, is it going to be a question of supporting Gabor and the Zigrins, questionable, just outright wrong, as their actions may have been? Does that jeopardize Brouver's support? If so, then probably going to have to stick with us, focusing on Brouver, prioritize above all else. If it looks like there's enough leeway that we can potentially get the best of both worlds, still get Brouver's support, while keeping the Zigrin secret safe, then that's the best of both worlds. But then again, this is Thronebreaker. I am not so sure that's going to happen. But anyways, without further ado, let us proceed. Is that Brouver himself or Royal Guard? I mean, does seem to be wearing a whole lot of gold here. Okay, section end. Let's see. Total time spent, a lot. Quest completed, 12. Puzzles completed, 7. Battles won, 5. Golden chest found, 8 out of 8. You are approaching an important moment in your journey. If you choose to continue, you will not be able to resume any unfinished activity in this area. We were just looking at our map here, but, I mean, we have, at this point, really the only things left. This loot over here we can't pick up because it's at the Nilfgaardian camp that is currently blocked because we chose not to pick a fight with them. There's a few shrines, which in previous locations we had made a point of praying at all of them, even if we didn't need the morale. We are currently on high morale, so it is not needed here. And we have now recently unlocked the Pray at 10 Shrines achievement, so no additional benefit from doing that there. There is this location where we can convert a large quantity of gold into a small quantity of wood. I think that's probably overkill at this stage. I'm hoping that once we're out of Mahakam, wood is not nearly as scarce as it is here, so that might be a more of a short-term band-aid fix if you find yourself in desperate need of wood. But that's not really the case for us right now, and this is just a place where we can pay gold to get our morale restored, which, given how we have all these free sources of morale restoration, that's not really necessary. The thing that we had other questions about was maybe the place where we invested in a stock exchange of sorts. Might we get a return there if we wait, and then maybe that gives more time for the interest to accrue? But no. No, it looks like we just threw away that money, but as we were saying, that came soon before the avalanche would have gotten rid of all of our money anyway, so in the end, not actually that big of a deal. All that is to say, I think we have truthfully done everything that we intend to do here, and we just got confirmation as well that we have actually found all the chests as well, which was something I had some doubts about, because it seemed like there were some areas where we might have missed some because there were no chests in them at all. But, alas, looks like we're ready. So let us proceed.
Brouver stood by the bridge like a statue, arms crossed, eyes squinting.
So that was Brouver.
Sighed inside. She stood little chance of having a pleasant chat.
yeah, pleasantries aside, we know it's not going to be a fun time, but the most important thing is just, can we win his favor and get the support of the dwarves in our effort against Nilfgaard?
Elder-in-Chief, sir.
No shouting and gracing here, lass. Plowing humans. Always out to fix things, always end up cocking them up.
All right. I see how it is.
You think you're due glory, do you? Monster slayer Meve? Patroness of dwarves? Blast it.
Well, pardon us for helping you.
What do you think? Why didn't I exterminate those beasts myself, eh? Go on, tell me.
Because you were king and thought you had better things to do? Or clan? No. What is technically his official title? His official title? I don't remember what his official title is. It's technically not clan leader because he's above all the clans. It's something like that, though. You know what I mean.
you.
For I didn't want to. For something didn't affect, damn it. So I resolved to not destroy their nests and evidence till I learned the truth of who done it.
Okay, so here is that aspect that we predicted we might run into, where yes, Brouver was onto something, that something being the Zigrins and their plot. So it sounds like, he had deliberately let all of his people get attacked, and didn't fight off the monsters because he wanted to not mess with the crime scene, despite the fact that the crime scene, quote-unquote, was, still an actively dangerous area that was continuing to cause harm to his people. Again, Brouver, you're an idiot on so many levels.
Postponed it all those years expressly. Though your subjects were dying.
Exactly.
I didn't need no lectures from the likes of you. Justice must be served. That's worth any price. And I was close. Had leads.
Alright, buddy, if you say so. At this point, you've quickly established yourself as possibly the worst imaginable... Okay. Not the worst imaginable ruler, but certainly the worst that I think we've heard of in, of all the various rulers that we've encountered here.
And now, it's all gone to hell. You flooded Devor's abyss. You brought Boros rump down on itself. And I'll never ken who killed the Fuchses. Understand? Never!
Yeah, or you could have, maybe informed us about that. Or, really done anything other than what you did. Okay, and here is the question that we predicted we would face. Do we just rat out the Zigrins? Full stop. Here it is. This is your answer. Clearly, Gabor's not going to be pleased with us. Or do we say, sorry, but I don't know if this is going to be phrased as a, well, I don't know. I have no idea. Or if this is a, well, it's just gonna remain a mystery. Nothing we could have done about it. Sorry about that. So, problem here. So I was hoping that we'd have a little more build-up, a little more contextual information. Because basically just going straight into the, hey, you rat out the Zigrins, or you don't. And so don't have a good sense as to whether doing this is just an automatic, well, Brouver hates you no matter what now. And it doesn't matter anything that you did before because this overwrites everything. Which might be the case. The fact that it is coming up so quickly makes me think that that is perhaps more likely than not. On the other hand, then the question becomes, well, what exactly do we expect from Brouver in the way of support? Would he give us, what? Gold, wood, best case scenario, gold, wood, recruits, and probably some kind of bronze dwarf units to add to our deck. But in doing so, if we do this and we get all of those things, I think we can still guarantee that that means Gabor is leaving. So is some combination of gold, wood, recruits, and maybe a couple of bronze dwarves sufficiently adequate to compensate for losing Gabor? Honestly, even that's questionable. And that's probably best case scenario. Worse than that, somewhere in the middle ground is, you're probably not getting all those, you're either getting resources or you're getting the cards added to your deck, but you're still losing Gabor. At that point, I think Gabor, especially post-upgrade that we had, where he's now dealing 15 damage, and that's the primary benefit of him. But as we continue to increase the maximum number of trinkets in our deck, there's even potentially some value out of that, playing a trinket from our deck as well, if we mulligan some of them in the beginning of a match. So, Gabor's a good card, and probably significantly more valuable than 2 random bronze dwarves. On the other hand, from a more narrative standpoint, that's purely from a gameplay standpoint. From a narrative standpoint, though, presumably getting the support of Brouver and the dwarves more holistically is a more substantial benefit than having the support of a single dwarf in Gabor. So, like, having Gabor is not going to be a significant factor in turning the tide of the war against the Nilfgaardians. Having the support of, potentially, a regiment of dwarves could. So, those are all the factors we're weighing here. So, again, I think basically from a gameplay standpoint, making our deck as strong as possible, technically speaking, this is probably still the best answer, at least based on what I'm predicting. Obviously, I've never played before, so I don't know what the outcome is going to be. On the other hand, from a narrative standpoint, if this backfires, then obviously this is better. If we have done enough good things to win Brouver's favor that this can get swept under the rug, then obviously this is still the best of both worlds. So maybe we give this a shot? But as I said, I think given how quickly this came up, I'm suspecting that this is going to be an automatic. Brouver says he hates you, nothing good is going to come of this, but we'll try.
My sincere apologies. I did not know.
Course you didn't. Humans. First they cock it up, then they ask how it works. Ah.
Alright, so will that come back to haunt us? Well, we shall see.
I'm most eager to give that braid of yours a yank and kick you out beyond the gate. But I canna, for the clans are grateful to you.
Hey!
Fools, all fools.
Alright, hold on. Maybe all those things that we did will be enough to compensate for us not being able to, well, you know, not ratting out the Sigrins.
They forced me to give you an audience, official like, with witnesses, all at the foot of Mount Carbon.
Okay, I like where this is headed.
Come on then, time to move on. But I'm going to wring you out so hard you'll wish you never left that Nilfgaardian dungeon.
Okay, so it sounds like it's not guaranteed at this point. Definitely not guaranteed, but we at least have a chance.
Brouver set off at a brisk pace, cursing under his breath. The queen took a deep breath, counted to 5 in her head, and set off after him.
I mean, are we just casually, from the top of Mount Carbon, walking the entire way down in one go? Maybe. No. Alright, they have an elevator, Lids. Of course they have an elevator over here. What are you talking about? Clearly that's what this was all along. Oh, this is probably a note of some variety. Let's see. Letter found. On land bridge, it is strictly forbidden to stomp, jump, lean over the edge, stop for a rest, or carve runes in the handrails. Hoo-hoo-ha. But nothing about whistling. Not this time, at least. Well, we have stopped. So we've already broken the rules. What about you, though?
Wanted to hunt monsters, eh?
I mean, kind of had no choice but to participate in the main quest missions, right?
Oh, Elder's furious. Spits flying 10 feet.
It sounds like that's always the case with him, though.
Let humans neath carbon. Didn't ken if that's wise. Oh, Elder's furious.
Okay.
Spits
So we've
flying
heard
10
that.
feet.
So yeah, we've at least earned a trial of sorts, and so the hope here is going to be that we've done enough good things that those will outweigh the bad.
Innovative thinking in many domains. Metallurgy, engineering, architecture. Yet there is one in which they could not be bothered. Naming. For
Okay.
this reason, the bridge that linked the Mahakam Pass with Mount Carbon was simply named Langbridge. Meve learned it was a thoroughly fitting name. Having stopped for a breath halfway across the road,
Don't do that, that's not allowed.
deep chasm, the Queen could see neither end of the bridge, both concealed by thick clouds.
Amazing.
Whispered the Queen.
I feel as though we traversed the very sky.
The Queen and her retinue were nearing Mount Carbon when Meve heard a cry. It was Xavier.
Hold! Hold!
Meve drew in her reins abruptly. Her mare neighed and reared, lifting the Queen above her formation of men. From that height, she saw the last pier of the bridge crumbling.
What?
The dwarves at the head of the procession were unable to stop in time and plummeted, screaming into the abyss.
What's the meaning of this, God damn it?
Brouver roared.
Fetch the engineers! No!
Okay. Yeah, Brouver's on this bridge with us.
The Queen was striving to calm her spooked mount when she sensed something swish past her ear. Out of nowhere, a Scoia'tael band had appeared at the rear of the column. Before anyone could react, elven archers had felled the rear guard. The soldiers lay on the bridge's stone surface with arrows in their backs. Meve was trapped. In one direction lay the chasm, in the other, a fierce foe. She had no choice but to stand and fight.
Oh. Okay, I was gonna say, it seemed like more often than not, of course, these final encounters had some sort of battle in them, and this whole trial thing is all fun and dandy, but unless it got really, really heated, didn't see where the battle was coming in, but here it is. Scoia'tael attacking the dwarves, though. That is surprising. That is surprising. I mean, we've talked about this a little bit before. Technically, Mahakam and Scoia'tael, although there's sort of an overlap there in that there are a lot of dwarves that are members of the Scoia'tael. Mahakam itself is not officially part of the Scoia'tael, so although they may not necessarily be enemies per se, they aren't allies either. I mean, it's debatable. So it's interesting that Scoia'tael are attacking the dwarves, to put it simply. The Lyrians watched in disbelief as Scoia'tael warriors slit the throats of Mahakam guards. Where is this coming from and why? How could this be? Non-humans against non-humans, exactly. To what end? Could it be the elder races do not uniformly support the squirrel's cause? No doubt these questions and more plagued the men's thoughts. Yet this was not the time to entertain them. This was time to fight. It's a story battle, shortened battles to just one round, and extra cards. Not often we see that one. But okay, unique cards will appear in this battle. Gotcha. Let's see what the deal is. Okay, one round. Before we select our cards, let's see what the deal is. Cliff. Permanent resilience, immune. Whenever a unit is moved to the same row as Cliff, destroy it. Okay, so I imagine they're going to do something like capture our cards or find a way to move them so that they're going to get destroyed, or are we trying to use the Cliff to destroy their cards? See what their ability is. Damage enemy by 5, and it's adjacent units by 2, cooldown 3. That is very strong. That is a lot of damage. Fortunately, it has a 3-turn cooldown, but still. Okay, so we definitely don't want to have you in hand. Let's put you back in deck. We do have a Mahakam Axe Dwarf. That is a new addition. Let's see. Move a unit 1 row away from the opponent. Reach 1. Okay, so I imagine this is a way to prevent our units from, yes, getting moved over to this cliff. So I think movement is going to be a factor. And maybe Strayslinger could be worth including for that reason as well. It is fitting that we have Gabor in hand, and we also see Brouver. Let's see. What is his deal? Spawn 2 Mahakam Protectors and move an enemy from the melee to the range row. Okay, so that's actually a way to move enemies to the cliff. So that's certainly a welcome sight. He has resilience, though. It's not really gonna... Oh, no, the Protectors do. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, just one round, that's not going to be a huge factor here. I think, let's see. Damage is certainly nice. Gonna have to do a fairly early Tainted Ale, I think. Blood gives us some flexibility. I mean, we might just stick with this, to be honest. Barnabas, as always, is a bit of a wild card. Don't know what we're going to get out of him, but what would we be looking for that is not here? Potentially something like Isbel. I mean, Infiltrate if they're going to play something big, but then again... With the chasm, that's maybe a little bit tricky, a little bit risky. Alchemists could potentially be useful if they have a highly, or if we get a highly boosted card, we can create another copy of, or create another high-powered card out of that. Bomber could be useful as well. We could dump one of these slingers. Okay, I think we stick with this.
At last, Renna, you are mine.
We trapped you, Grace, but we can try and fight our way through.
Okay, let's see what the deal is here. We do already have units out here, so they will immediately start attacking them. We're not... Oh, right, no, these are the guys with the order abilities. It's like, what? Why can't we use the order ability here? Damage unit by 2 if it was already boosted, damage it by 6 instead. Cooldown 1. Pretty sure these are some of the elves that we saw back in Boulderwood, which were a thorn in our side then, and will continue to be now as well, I imagine. But Isbel, if properly protected, could be a good way to help compensate for the damage that we are likely about to take. We'd like to shut you down, though. So we're going to get 4 damage out of you guys and 4 damage out of you for a total of 8, which is not quite enough to destroy the Elven Archer by itself. But what do we think the timing is? One row away from the opponent. That's kind of weird. Yeah, so we're not actually moving our opponents into the chasm, we're moving ourselves away from the chasm? I don't know. I mean, we could move you into the chasm with Brouver, but I feel like we might want to wait to see if there are better options to do that with, especially because we only need a tiny bit of damage here. So, what if we go... We can't move you, can we? No, it's immune. Okay. So if we were to go Slinger, we could move you, destroying you. Move you, because it doesn't matter, but then we'd have to hit ourselves with one of those movements, which is obviously not great. We could proceed to then swap out a footman for someone else, which is sort of a way to counteract that. It's still less than ideal, but given how everything else I think we probably want to save, that might still be the direction we'd like to go in here. So let's do this.
Bigger they are, easier they are to target.
And we'll go for the weaker footman, because I think that's a more obvious card to swap out. Oh, it also technically means we can save leader ability here, which might be kind of nice. Yeah, we'll swap you here for something else. And I mean, Knickers was very likely to come out at some point anyway, so that's kind of a not so great thing there.
Got business for me?
Okay, every turn start, summon a random elf from your deck. So we would like to shut you down as well, and the earlier we do that, probably the better. Gabor does also give us enough damage here, but, I mean, we still have, what did we say, 8 damage from leader ability with the Arbalest, and we've technically not used any of that yet. So Gabor would be serious overkill in that case, as would just about everything else. And I think we saw that if we do Gabor and we trigger the overkill, we actually still need to hit one of our own units, which is obviously also not ideal. But we could do that, and we'd have, what, 4 points of overkill damage, which, if we do have to target that on ourselves, we could use it on the footman and do the same thing we did last turn. Maybe we do that and we continue to save leader ability because we can. I mean, obviously it would have a cooldown, so we're delaying how quickly we'll get it back off cooldown, but, you know, cooldown is only...
For you, pal! Anything.
Cooldown, yes, we do need to hit ourselves here. But we can swap this out.
Shh, go get it.
Well, a lot of stuff is backfiring here. A lot of stuff is backfiring here. What I was trying to say was that cooldown, you know, there's only so many times you can realistically get your leader ability off cooldown anyway. Okay. And at this point... So you are, I'm pretty sure, still going to go to our opponent's side. Really wish that said, if you have spying, boost self by leaning to the right and move to the other opponent's side. So that, you know, stuff like this doesn't potentially brick the Infiltrator. Which is, you know, Knickers and Infiltrator were the two worst possible cards to get out with that. Because this is 0 points and this is negative points. So, yeah, not loving that. Would like to destroy you as soon as possible, really. And so we could go with Thunder here. I guess it's once again. Is that sufficient? Actually, it would drop you down to 1. Technically, it would drop you down to 1. And I feel like we might want to wait to use Thunder until you get moved over to this side. Then what do? We could go Barnabas, and instead of focusing on damage, we could still lead. Yeah, we could still lead your ability, see what we get with Barnabas, and it might be enough to take you out. Damage could still be relevant there, I suppose.
Feel any burning? See a local healer or wise woman?
Transform damage unit into a... Well... If we had used leader ability first, I'd kind of like that. I mean, it is still probably a net benefit to do that, but... What we could do... I was going to say is give the immunity to one of these guys, and then try to force you into hitting the Infiltrator, which is still not likely to happen. The Blitz units from our deck, I think, what? Bomber and Reynard are the only ones we have, but that might actually be the best choice here. I think it actually is.
Watch your head.
So obviously we're going to go for this row here. And then Reynard is just a relatively big card. Then we hit you. Damage is almost enough to destroy you. Did I do my math wrong? I might have done my math wrong. Yeah, it's going to say that the fire might still finish you off. That is not going to be the case. It, at best, is dropping you down to a 1, where we could then Ulcers, Thunder card on either side, and the splash damage would take you out.
Special prize, just for you.
And that is probably what we're about to do here. Oh, you did hit the... Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Okay, so now I think we probably do go Thunder here. It's also technically not enough. But... then, if we really needed to, we could Northern Wind after that. I think we still do this. Well, the fire could take you out here. That is a possibility. And we still have 1 turn to deal with you. Okay, so if we were to do this, it would guarantee that we destroy you and prevent you from summoning over more elves. Alternatively, but it would not do much to you. Alternatively, we break out Brouver, and on deploy, yeah, we move an enemy to the range row, which means we can dump you over here and destroy you, and just try to rely on the fire to hopefully take you out, because if not, then it's gonna mean you get several more units. Potentially a bunch of additional Elven Archers. So I think we might actually... I think it's more important to prioritize you, to tell you the truth. Yes, the fire might take you out, but it's only a 33% chance. Blood, out of curiosity. With how many cards are actually in our deck right now? 10, you say? We'll see 5 of them and choose 2 of them. So it's not going to be the Footman. That's a bug. Those aren't actually there. Don't want the Infiltrator. These guys aren't actually here. Wait, is it? It's actually much less than 10? So is it 10 including those guys that aren't actually there? I think it is. Yeah, so actually, I think it's... if it's not you guys, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which means... there are actually 8 cards we are guaranteed to see all but 3, which means since we have 4 slingers, we're guaranteed to see a slinger, which means we're guaranteed to have enough damage to destroy you. I think blood can kill you, guaranteed. If my math is correct here, we will definitely see our slingers. And Alchemist might need to be the second play, because otherwise... Actually, hold on. Equals to the power of the units on its left. Yeah. Arbalest is the best option there for +4. Otherwise, Slinger's going to have to hit some of our own cards again, which at this point we definitely don't want to do. So I think it is 1 and 2. So go here.
Thing about slings.
Oh, also, you guys are both going to immediately get destroyed. So yeah, the Slinger is definitely just an amazing card in this match in particular. So we use you... Oh, and we could have. Yeah, we should have put you there, and that would have made this a little bit stronger still. But
There's been a mistake.
it's a small
I'm no
boost. The
mage.
big thing was getting the deployability on the Slinger, of course.
Let us sing the song of steel.
Destroy a damaged unit. We actually don't have any anymore, thankfully, and after denying them a whole bunch of potential sources of damage, we have made it such that it's not going to be the easiest thing for them to do anyway. Do need to make sure that we have 3 turns for Tainted Ale to work here. So we are going to need to break this out fairly soon, but I think this might be a time for us to go with Brouver and just take you out right now. Don't really see what the value of this is at the moment, but I think we just go Brouver here.
Think you ballbags can do whatever the devils you please? This is Mahakam!
Okay. Oh, was he gonna spawn 2 Mahakam Protectors on this row? Yeah, I tried to put him next to the Alchemist because that was going to be the weakest card. And therefore, if we were to get another Alchemist, we could make you an 11. But, alas, I also just did not pay much attention to that. So, oh well. Don't think it's going to be a huge factor here. Not at the moment. There is some damage. And it's also, it's not like we have an automatic lose condition if Brouver dies. I don't think I saw that. But, not that we want him to die, but, you know. So, as I said, I do think we're going to need to use Tainted Ale. Possibly even on this turn. And oddly enough, I mean, these are the obvious targets for leader ability on our next turn. But if we were to do Tainted Ale on one of them, you are the highest unit at the moment. It would get you up to 20, which means you're no longer on the same number, so it makes for a less effective leader ability. So, can we wait one more turn? I'm not sure that we can. So I think we still do this. Odd as it may seem. Fortunately, the fire hit both of them.
Death to humans!
Then why are you attacking dwarves? Also, the fire triggered for a second time and made it so those are no longer the same number, so we should have just used our Tainted Ale on one of you anyway. Oh well. It's the thought that counts. Okay, well, so, Isabel has gotten fairly powerful right now. I think we'd like to save her for our next turn. Probably finish with you. Yeah, I know the whole move a unit 1 row away from the opponent. Well, not really sure that's going to be of any use at all. I mean, we could play you and finish with Northern Wind. I guess we do, because this does gain value the longer we wait for it. So yeah, I still don't really see what the use case for that ability is, but maybe it will present itself to us later on. And in this case, you know, not really sure who we're trying to go for. I guess you. You're technically the most valuable long term, but you do have armor, so then again, we're not really going to be able to destroy you. So, I don't know, man. Maybe we can get rid of that guy. And maybe if they have something that gets powered based on the number of elves they have that could be beneficial now that we've gotten rid of one of them. Oh, it's a trap. It's a trap! Which is annoying, because I was about to play Isabel. And Isabel is very valuable. And I was hoping that Isabel would be able to, you know, get played safely, but this trap may very well destroy her. But, we'll see. We will see about that.
I'd hoped we could solve
We have to play her on this
some
turn.
other way.
Otherwise, she's not going to have time to use this ability.
I shall not fail!
Okay, that was close. Down goes that highly boosted card, and that means we already have the win here, for what it's worth. Isabel is worth a ton of points, so we'll use her. And then we will proceed to Northern Wind. I still don't know what that is. There is in multiplayer Gwent a trap that destroys your highest powered card whenever you play a special card, and we are about to play a special card. So there's a chance we're about to lose, actually, possibly even 3 20 power units. But hopefully that's not the case. Because it looks like we've won here.
No!
That's just never going to trigger, apparently.
She must die!
So, I'm assuming we'll get some answers as to why the Scoia'tael just attacked Mahakam.
Their strength combined, the Lyrians and dwarves managed to defeat the Scoia'tael. The guerrillas had weakened the last span of the bridge, turning the crossing into a deadly trap. Had Xavier, who noticed the weakened structure at the last instant, not called out, all would have fallen into the chasm. The Lyrians managed to capture.
Okay, so
the
good thing we
unit
had
commander.
Xavier.
She stood, her head raised high, and when Meve glared at her, she did not avert her eyes.
Okay. We've unlocked a new card, Crow's Eye. We'll have to take a look at that. And yes, so that's actually, I was just thinking that when we saw Xavier call out and give that warning, that we'd, I think, gotten an encounter for just about every specific hero that we have in our group right now. One that, you know, had that hero help us in some way, shape, or form, besides Xavier. So, to find a way for him to help us out there is definitely a nice addition, because, I mean, if he had not done that and we all fell down and Brouver might have died, I mean, like, who knows? It could have been catastrophic.
What is your name, elf?
Abayeth meta parstwan.
Now I don't speak Elvish, but I'm pretty sure that's not her name, and I'm pretty sure I can piece together what she's saying to us.
She said,
Yeah, something that you normally wouldn't say to a queen.
Thank you, Reynard. I know well what she said. Kiss my ass. Is that truly the best you can muster?
I'd rather show you exactly what I can muster. Tell them to unbind me.
I'm pretty sure you mean that if we are to do that, then you will immediately try to assassinate Queen Meve, so thanks but no thanks. Gonna have to pass on that one.
You got your opportunity. On the battlefield. Will you not tell me what they call you? Fine. It's all the same to me. I'm more interested to know how you came to be here.
Yeah,
Who
never
sent you?
mind the fact that it showed her name in the previous dialogue. But also, yeah, that other question, why the heck are the Scoia'tael attacking the dwarves, seems really odd.
No one. It was my decision to kill you, and thus avenge Eldain.
Really? Really?
Do you remember him? The elf whom you denied a burial? Whom you left in an open field to rot?
Oh. Yeah, we might have done that. I'm kind of surprised, though. The long-standing implications of that. I mean, that was a long time ago at this point, or at least feels that way. And felt like we'd kind of left Edirn and the Scoia'tael behind us. But alas, that is not the case, and I guess that makes you wonder, if you did not do that in Edirn, would this encounter just not happen at all in Mahakam? Or be substantially different?
You've elven blood on your hands. The blood of the elves of the Moulderwood.
I mean, yeah. I mean, both these things are true, but she's not going to take too kindly to this one. This maybe earns a tiny bit of sympathy points.
I regret the events of the Moulderwood. I did not wish those elves' deaths. Yet they left me no choice.
What choice would you give a murderer who invaded your home?
I mean, we were just trying to pass through, and you guys kind of attacked us, and, you know, like, tried to set traps on us and whatnot.
You know I envy you. To see the world solely as black or white, it must simplify things so. Enough. I've heard all I wish to hear.
But I haven't. Did you fall in your heed, elf, eh? If you want to fight humans, go on and do it. You cannot talk sense to idiots and nay here, damn it. Mahakam is and will be neutral.
Neutrality this, neutrality that. We're actually completely supporting the Nilfgaardians, despite the fact that we claim neutrality, yada yada.
You cannot be neutral. To Dwan, you are either their foe or their dog. Mahakam has stood aside, sleeping long enough. That is why we struck it in its very heart, as a call to battle. A call to brethren whom you, Elder, have kept from the world too long.
Alright, I'm curious if that has any sway on Brouver.
I have kept him away. I've been bloody right to do so. You want to play at war, you numpties? You want to force the Pontar to flow upstream? Gang right ahead. Good riddance, I say. Gan kill, gan die if you fancy. But God's damn it, leave us alone.
Alright, fair enough.
Yeah, I should kill you. With my own hands. I should cut your throat, put you out of your misery. That's what you want, innit? To die? To die a stupid death? Well, I'll not grant you that. Nay, nay, I'll lock you in a tower. Sit there 3 centuries, and you just might grow a brain.
I mean, I suppose life in prison is a little more substantial for elves than it is for humans. You know, we'll just throw you in 3 years. Nah, not quite enough. 3 decades? That's a lot, but nah, I think we can do more. How about 3 centuries? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Brouver Hoog gazed after the shackled elf as she was led away. Meve expected him to continue fuming, cursing her. But the dwarf stood silent, and his old eyes, half concealed by brows bushy as a forest floor, showed not anger, but the deepest sadness. Dwarven engineers made quick work of repairing the crumbled bridge span.
Okay. Not entirely sure what to make of those things. But apparently, I was gonna say, there's no way they're rebuilding this gigantic stone structure in the span of minutes. There's no way that happened. But, small little wood plank bridge to go across the chasm. That makes a little more sense. We did, of course, also gain a new card, so let's take a look at that. And it was Crow's Eye, right? Let's see. Move 6 random enemies to the other row and damage them by 2. Okay, well, for what it's worth, and an encounter like the one we just had, that would have been very helpful. Suppose that makes a lot of sense that we got it from that encounter. And it also makes a lot of sense if we were to reintroduce Gascon to our deck, who we took out a while ago. But actually, we have the provisions to put him back in. And... or the recruit cap points. Certainly have enough of that. Is there a card we'd like to dump to make room for him? Because, I feel like we might have just forgotten about it. Like Reynard? At this point, with just a tiny bit of movement, Gascon is a better Reynard. Because Reynard is just here for the 10 base power, and he's a blitz unit, which means that if we happen to get the trinkets that we saw recently that plays several blitz units from our deck, we're likely to see Reynard pop up, but even that's not a huge deal, so I think it does make sense to throw Gascon in here. And is he a blitz unit himself? Where'd he go? He is not. Yeah, so he starts out weaker than Reynard, yes, but he actually does have some long-term potential. Basically, 1 round of Stray Slinger makes him stronger than Reynard by at least a little bit, and if you do throw in other things like, say, that crow's eye that we just picked up, then he definitely could be a fair bit stronger. So, I mean, it's not a substantial upgrade, and it's one that we had access to before, but as to say, just kind of forgot about that, and so I think might as well make that small adjustment. And a little bit of additional loot here as well. Actually, decent gold from this to the point where that's not bad. We take a look at our map here. Okay, I was gonna say, we did just do that battle, but we have not yet resolved things with the Elder in Chief. That's his official name, right? His official title. So I think we proceed here.
Look, Mount Carbon.
Damn. And I thought Novigrad was big.
Oh, wait, but have we not been on Mount Carbon all along? Have we just been on a mountain adjacent to Mount Carbon? Possibly. Mount Carbon. Wipe your feet, comb your beard, but foreign garb bring not in here. Carbon's heart, can you hear the throb? You're a dwarf, not a slob. Hoo, ha.
So the elves are against us. Against our elder. Treacherous hounds.
Yeah, I was certainly surprised as well.
Truth be told, I supported the Scoia Telephone. Oh, I wish every last one of them dead. Dead. Long-eared bastards. Raising our own saplings against us in rebellion. Sowing unrest. Violence. In the mountains. So the elves are against us.
Okay.
Against our elder. Treacherous hounds.
So I think, technically speaking, might even be the case that everything that we've encountered thus far is on the outskirts of Mahakam. But there's a chance that Mahakam itself, the official city, is actually just this area where we are about to enter right here, actually inside of Mount Carbon / on top of, because apparently this also was not Mount Carbon, or was just the foothills of Mount Carbon or something like that. Because I'm now noticing that there's a lot more built up right there that I did not see before. Alright, let's do it!
The Lyrians stepped inside Mount Carbon's bowels. Meve rode while looking upwards, admiring the intricately carved ceiling, gilded walls, monumental bas-reliefs carved from basalt. Yet this was no time to admire the sights. Brouver'S had summoned her to speak.
I thank you for your invitation, Elder.
Okay, so this here will be our trial, one would assume then.
My invitation. Choice term, lass. You wangled your way in here. Long I've lived, but ne'er have I seen a wench so stubborn.
Thanks?
With all due respect, do you not feel like a pot conversing with a kettle?
Ha! True enough. Changes of mind didn't come easy to me, but they do come at times.
Alright, I was gonna say, he's definitely... He's quite stubborn himself, of course.
Human wars concern me not at all. For so many they are, who could count them? A year goes by without one wanking king invading another's realm. A dog with scabies is less restless.
Okay, but he did say previously that his mind can theoretically be changed, which, you know, is maybe a good sign of what might be to come here.
That's why, this morning, I aimed to send you off with nothing. Mattered not what the clans were saying. Rivia, Schmivia, who gives a sheep's fart? But that was this morn, before that daft wench and her pups attacked.
Okay.
Nilfgaard supports the Scoia'tael, it's common knowledge. Nilfgaard uses them. Well, I'm nae worse, and I choose to use Queen Meve.
Hey, that sounds good. I'll not be a tool, not yours, not anyone's. I mean, okay, yes, there is that aspect. But, on the other hand, I don't think we can turn our nose up at him right now. Now is not the time to be all, well, actually, you see, the thing is, Brouver, yes, we may have spent this entire time trying to get your support, but at the same time, we don't want to be, subject to your whims. So, actually, thanks but no thanks. All of our efforts here were for naught. We're just gonna turn around and leave with nothing. No, we're gonna come up with a plan.
So what use would you make of me, if I might ask? You've a plan?
Aye, the kind dwarves like best. Simple, but sneaky.
Oh. Okay. Go on.
Like to give Nilfgaard a warning, you can. If you're going to rile my dwarves, throw 'em into the Scoia'tael ranks. You'll regret it, aye? But I'd like to issue the warning without declaring war. All clear to you so far?
Hold on. Want to give a warning to Nilfgaard. But we don't want them to go into the Scoia'tael ranks, the dwarves, because otherwise they'll be under Nilfgaard's power in that case. So we'll regret it. But if we issue a warning without declaring war, then that might walk a tightrope that avoids that situation.
So, when you march out of Mahakam, you'll find a company of our foot dwarves waiting out with the gate. Officially, volunteers enlisting with you against my will.
Okay. Except that you're actually secretly supporting them in that effort.
And you're to put them at the fore next time you face Nilfgaard. Want the Blacklads to break their teeth on our bucklers, get a taste of our axe blades. After that, dare say they'll think twice before they send more Scoia'tael into these hells.
Okay. Okay. I see what you're getting at.
I do not... Thank you, Elder. You restore my hope that I shall have my home back in the end.
Candid like, I dinna share your faith. I've watched you. You're naive. Let ire take you. Meddle in matters near your own. Disrespect our custom. But you win or nay, it's all the same to me.
Alright, I mean, hey, if he's gonna give us some dwarves, then we'll take that.
Then I hope that I shall at least surprise you.
Honestly doubt that. So you'll only get the bare minimum recruits to make the Imperials take note. And near dwarf more.
Okay. That does make me wonder if there was theoretically a way in which to get additional dwarves beyond that. But, alright, volunteer corps. Great! I mean, it's something. We technically did get Brouver'S support. And Mahakam Mangler. Mahakam Shieldbearer. Okay, I mean, at least at this point, I mean, obviously all we can see right now is their base power. So, don't really know what other abilities they may or may not have, but at the very least, we're seeing there are several different cards, and that is something that we have not had a lot of without us crafting anything, and so just to have options to suit the situation we find ourselves in is definitely a nice luxury to have.
And for that I am grateful. But now, I would like to march at once. So by your leave...
Go right! Now if you can. Quicker you get out of our mount, the better.
Alright.
Without waiting for Meve's reply, Brouver turned his back to her. The Queen left without saying a word. There were few choice ones burned on her lips. Meve was on her way back to her company when who should step in front of her if not Gabor?
Makes sense.
To what do I owe this pleasure? Do the Zigrins wish to use me once more? Accomplish aught else with my aid?
Could be, but if so, tain't none of my concern.
Oh?
Why is that?
For I've resolved to leave Mahakam for all time.
Kinda got the sense, got the feeling that was gonna happen. I anticipated more so if the Zigrins got ratted out and he became just the face of the criminal side of their clan and would very much be probably chased out of town and would just never be able to be here ever again, even if he wanted to be. But the fact that he's doing so more voluntarily here, given how we avoided having to reveal what the Zigrins did, it's a little more surprising in this case, I suppose.
And where will you go?
Then again, wherever you lead me.
Ah, okay, and that was the hope. Was that by avoiding besmirching the Zigrin name, that might mean we could keep Gabor with us, because he has been a very useful card, especially after having upgraded him, at least from a gameplay standpoint, and obviously having another hero to help us out has, as we've seen in Mahakam here, proven quite useful many times. So maybe there will be future occasions on which having Gabor with us will help us out from a more narrative standpoint as well.
I beg your pardon.
Your Grace, Meve, I betrayed your trust, tricked you outright. In spite of that, you kept my confidence, risking everything. To say I'm grateful is just a wee understatement. I'm indebted to you, deeply so. Please let me pay it off. Let me fight at your side, head to hip with you.
I mean, I wouldn't say no. Yes, he did deceive us, but I think it was pretty clear that, you know, it was not something that he did so of his own accord. You know, he felt like he was obligated to do so with the current state of his clan, and he was kind of pinned in a corner in a lose-lose situation. And if he could do it again, he would have hopefully found a way to, you know, avoid having to deceive us like that. So I think we can move on from that, put it in the past, and trust him going forward. And as we were just saying, he's certainly a powerful card to have in our deck, and he's another hero to have on our side.
Gabor, vindictive I am not.
Oh, thank you, Meve.
Yet neither am I stupid. You may join our ranks, I agree. Yet trick me once more, in the tiniest manner, and I shall show you no mercy. Is that clear?
That much is true.
Chastened, Gabor merely nodded to confirm. Meve extended her hand
Meve's
to kiss as a
face.
sign of submission. Yet he simply wrapped his arms around her waist and squeezed. The Lyrians were ready to leave Mahakam when they heard the sonorous blast of a commander's horn announcing the arrival of Brouver'S.
Oh, what does he want now?
When she saw a sour grin on his face, Meve knew the tidings were not good.
Oh.
What she heard next exceeded her wildest expectations.
Huh?
Come to say farewell? No need, truly.
Came 'cause I got a burning question.
Oh?
Meve, you expecting anyone?
No?
How's that?
Unless the Nilfgaardians are here as well. We got that note previously about a Nilfgaardian group that was, I thought, trying to convince the dwarves to attack us, right? I don't think we ever saw that come to anything, so might that be what's about to happen here?
Runner says a delegation's arrived at Carbon. Lyria and Rivia got a Nilfgaardian escort.
Yep. Something from the Nilfgaardians at the very least.
How dare they? Traitors. Who leads it?
You'd best sit.
Who leads the delegation?
It's your son, Willem, I fear.
Oh no. Willem?
Willem.
For what it's worth, we have not heard much from or about him for a very, very long time, which is kind of weird, given how he is. I mean, yes, he's the sort of token leader of Lyria and Rivia right now, and functionally it's Nilfgaard, but still.
Mahakam remains neutral as regards all your squabbles. I trust I needn't remind you. So I'll have no scrambling nor shoving, and certainly no bloodshed. Point of fact, I'd prefer it if you...
I wish to speak to him.
I mean, he is still Meve's son.
I'd forbid you, but, as I said, never seen a more stubborn wench. Alrighty then, jabber away with him. Just remember, hands to yourself.
Alright, I mean, it's not like we're gonna murder our son.
Meve spotted banners, a Lyrian eagle upon one surrounded by Nilfgaard's black rags.
I don't think.
Her hands became fists, showing how helpless she felt. Then her son and rival, Willem, emerged from behind a row of Imperial footmen.
My. I should apologize. It seems I missed the coronation. Congratulations, my son. Who was it who placed the crown? General Ebdahi?
So now he's not prince, but rather king of Lyria and Rivia, perhaps?
Count Caldwell.
Ah, well, that's not terribly surprising.
Ah, yes. Our elder statesman. Why have you come here, of all places? To acquire arms for Nilfgaard?
As my official mission, yes. Yet unofficially, I wish to speak with you.
I don't know, Willem.
I trust you've had tidings from the field. Edirn turned to ash and dust. Vizimir murdered Redania in chaos. Foltest forced to strike a pact by his vassals betrayed. Henselt the same.
So those are a lot of leaders from other locations. Vizimir of Redania, Foltest of Temeria, and Henselt of Kedwin, but we haven't actually heard much about them directly.
This limerick, will it come to a point?
Why, yes. To the same as this war. Mother, I beg you, you must see it. Nilfgaard's victory is inevitable. Surrender now, and I shall show you mercy. For later it'll be too late.
Willem?
There will be no later. We shall repel them, drive them south at the points of our pikes.
This we, Mother? Who precisely do you mean? You stand alone.
Oh, but you couldn't be more wrong. So it seems to you, but I've allies many as... What I was getting at, better to stand alone than with the Nilfgaard. I mean, this is the more truthful, wholesome answer. On the other hand, might kind of reveal one of our aces up our sleeves, that we have more allies than Nilfgaard realizes at the moment. Or, at least, specifically with the dwarves that we just got the support from. Or do we be a little more snobbish and just make it sound like we just don't like Nilfgaard? But maybe plant a seed in Willem's head of like, hey, you know, maybe I shouldn't be supporting Nilfgaard either. Thought just occurred to me. So I think we do that.
I prefer to stand alone over standing with Nilfgaard, with the invader, as you do.
Mother, in declaring for the Empire, I saved the lives of thousands of our subjects.
And in so doing, our honor lost.
I mean, that is... He has a point. Is it the right argument? You know, debatable, but he does have 8 points to make.
Folk who had their huts burned down care deeply about our honor. Is that truly your belief? When I was crowned, a fact you deride, though that makes it no less true, I swore the good of my subjects would guide me. And a war we are doomed to lose cannot in any way benefit them.
I mean, again, he has a point. Also, for what it's worth, in terms of the lineage of Meve and her family, I mean, obviously with Meve getting kicked out, Willem then gets promoted, of sorts, to becoming king, but I'm not super familiar with the Lyrian and Rivian rules for lineage, but oftentimes, as soon as Meve had a son, and her husband who presumably was king, died, usually, in most situations, Willem would become king rather than Meve being queen. So, not entirely sure why he wasn't king previously. But, you know, I don't know if it's based on more the Polish system, as, of course, Gwent / The Witcher / Thronebreaker was made in Poland. I'm more familiar with other, specifically English, medieval history and whatnot. But, or is this just for whatever reason, you know, just don't know why, but Willem was not king previously.
And slavery can. You know well the Blackclads put peasants in chains, like cattle.
Alright, strong counter-argument.
Reprehensible, I agree, but...
And resettlement? Forced labor? Cruel laws that make death the punishment for the slightest offenses? Are those benefits? Well, answer me!
I see I will not sway you, Mother. A shame, though I take comfort in the fact I tried. And now, adieu.
Oh no, I, not you, will decide when this conversation is over.
Oh, have we anything else to discuss?
You will go to your room. No computer time for you for an entire week. Your phone, taken away. Absolutely not. Did you hear the Nilfgaardians tried to kill me? Definitely ask about that.
Are you perhaps aware that the Nilfgaardians tried to kill me?
What? No, I heard only about an avalanche.
Right, ones that the Nilfgaardians started.
Which tumbled down through no small effort of an Imperial envoy.
Never would I have agreed to such a heinous act.
Sure, you wouldn't have.
I believe you.
I mean, yes. On the other hand, you're just very naive.
I'm heartened that despite all we...
I believe you because I believe the Nilfgaardians wouldn't ever have asked your opinion.
Yep. And you are totally out of any important decision-making processes.
Think on it, son. Are you their ally or their tool? Can you ever be sure?
I am the king of Lyria and Rivia. To serve my subjects' best interests, I am prepared to make even the most painful concessions.
Like the concession that you're wrong?
Might I leave now? Or is there more?
Well, yeah, how did you know to find us here? This is kind of weird that of all places, this is where you caught us, rather than more immediately after our departure in Eddern somewhere.
Naturally. How did you know you would find me here?
I received Nilfgaardian reports to the effect that you've been seen in the pass.
Is that so now?
Oh, roses are red and so are your cheeks, my son. As ever when you're caught in a lie.
Yep, it's true.
Lyria is 2 weeks' travel hence. Had you received word only once I was here, we'd have been long gone from Mahakam by the time you assembled a force and completed the march.
Okay.
No. You were forewarned of our intended route. It means I've a traitor in my ranks. Another one.
Okay, somebody fess up.
Get out of my sight, villain. And pray we only ever face one another on neutral ground.
Meve struggled inside not to turn and gaze once more at her son. He'd changed since they'd last faced each other, grown manlier, and he wore the crown well.
Okay, well, his personal fashion is not really all that relevant here.
The Queen returned to her company. Her advisors shot her questioning glances, curious what she had discussed with Brouver. But Meve decided to keep the details to herself. One of them wore a Nilfgaardian lead around his neck. Until she knew who, she would have to remain vigilant.
And true. We have a traitor of some variety on our team right now. And who is that? I mean, sure, it could theoretically be one of the no-name soldiers and scouts and what have you, but probably more likely that it is one of the heroes on the team. So that certainly raises some suspicions here.
Time to march on. But in which direction?
I've thought on it, Your Grace. We've strength enough to hit the foe, but still not the numbers to face him in open battle.
Okay.
So what do you propose?
This war we cannot win alone, nor even with the dwarves at our side. But if we secure a victory, small yet symbolic, we shall show the other realms of the north all is not yet lost.
Okay.
Thus, I propose we attack behind the front lines, somewhere well clear of any major Imperial force.
All right.
Where would you suggest?
I'm considering Angren. To begin with, a thickly wooded marshy land, always helpful in clandestine operations. Secondly, the land strategically important, as it's the chief source of building material for Nilfgaard's fleets.
Okay. Sounds logical. Sounds good.
All too little, I fear. Since we require a victory that would be symbolic, we must strike where it shall hurt. And Angren...
It's just not important enough.
Just recently welcomed a new regent in the person of Count Coldwell.
Oh.
Naturally, if your majesty wishes, I'm prepared to present alternatives to this.
Okay, that certainly sweetens the pot.
No need. We march at dawn.
Meve had toiled, cajoled, persuaded, and gained the dwarf's support. She left Mahakam strengthened markedly. Even so, the queen was in a foul mood. For it was clear a traitor, a viper, nested among the Lyrians. Someone who had conveyed the queen's plans to her foe. From this moment on, Meve would need to weigh every word she uttered, even in the presence of her closest associates.
Your Grace, we must plot our course forward. Shall we take the western passage into Angren, or...
Not now.
When, then? Dawn approaches, yet we know nothing of where...
I will not repeat myself.
The queen knew she would learn the traitor's identity in the end. If need be, she would tear the name from the throat of another turncoat, Count Caldwell.
Ah, okay.
Meve drooled at the prospect of seeing Caldwell in chains, then passing him to the hangman.
Saddle the horses. I shall take the fore.
The time for diplomacy, for preparations and negotiations had gone. Meve was to attack her foe at last, and she could not wait to do so.
Alright, so we have finished
At long last,
Mahakam.
Meve's force reached Angren's marshy woods. Ever been? No. Count yourselves lucky.
Are you certain we haven't lost our way?
Alas, here there is no way. We continue south, that's all.
South meaning the bottom.
Should you ever venture there, I offer you this advice. Do your utmost to make no noise.
Oh!
Poor soul. His comrades cried out, reached out, but alas, amidst frothing waters they heard bones cracking, the moan of metal bent and crushed.
What the bloody hell, what was that?
I think I know.
Rather not know, personally.
Hold your positions! Arms at the ready!
It was a glusty war.
Exactly.
One of many the Lyrians would encounter along their path. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No. Let's not.
At last, Meve and her force stood upon the Yaruga's bank. To find and punish the traitor Caldwell, they would have to cross the river. Yet the sole bridge nearby was in Nilfgaard's hands.
Your Majesty, some new reports require your attention.
Alright. Well, we have just now completed Mahakam and successfully won Brouver's favor, and in doing so, the support of some of the dwarves. And, you know, were we potentially able to get a little more support than that? Not entirely sure, and again, still don't know how exactly the calculations are made behind the scenes in Brouver's head to figure out will he or will he not support Meve in her efforts, and so I am curious, now that of course we have finished doing that, and we're sort of clear of spoilers for that, in some ways, I'd kind of like to hear from you guys in the comments to see, you know, well, did it turn out we went total overkill and did not need to do nearly as many things as we did to support Brouver and the things that he was trying to do? Did we cut it close? Things that we were talking about, like, oh, are there some situations where you automatically lose Brouver's favor? Like if you attack the Nilfgaardians at the end, what happens if you do or do not rat out the Zigrins? Is that a more significant factor, or is it the same weight as all the other decisions that we made along the way? Not sure. I'm kind of curious to hear about those, but of course now we are moving on into this area that I've actually never heard of before. But apparently we are, whoa, in a very foggy and swampy area, wooded area. Now, initially I thought that the area was going up to the north and west. And I was like, this is tiny. We're gonna be done with this place in no time. But no, it goes out this way. To the south, as we were saying before. Okay. So we have our first main quest mission is close by. Lots of woods and swamps to navigate. Drowners, perhaps, which are, actually, we seen drowners yet? I'm not sure that we have, which is crazy, because that is, like, probably the single most common enemy in all of the Witcher games. But alas, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here, but that's what we have to look forward to. So I'm hoping we'll get the chance to explore further very soon. But this is, of course, definitely a good place for us to wrap up here. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.